My name is Roger Boye, a professor in the Medill School, and it is my honor to present George R. Martin for the honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters. In his series of 5 books, A Song of Ice and Fire, that includes Game of Thrones, George Martin writes about castles and dragons, kings and serfs, assassins and zombies. But on another level, these fantasy novels portray in vivid terms the complexity of the human condition, the fact that there is good and bad in all of us, as well as themes such as loyalty, betrayal, revenge, and redemption. Indeed, George Martin explores what it means to be human as well as any writer of this generation. His books have sold nearly 100 million copies worldwide, have been translated into about 50 languages, and have been made into HBO's Game of Thrones. That series has aired in 170 countries and has proven to be one of the most popular in the history of television. An online site lists nearly 50 awards that George Martin has won over the years, including multiple Emmys for Game of Thrones. A decade ago, Time magazine named George Martin one of the 100 most influential people in the world. Northwestern University is proud to honor a storyteller extraordinaire, my own Medill Graduate School classmate, George R. Martin, with the degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
Thank you, Professor Boye, for those kind words. And thank you so much to Northwestern University for honoring me with this doctorate. It has been, I'm frightened to admit, half a century since my own commencement at Northwestern. It doesn't seem like half a century. Sometimes it seems like another life entirely, several centuries. And other times it seemed to me that it was last week when I was dressed in another cap and gown, waiting to receive my own degree. But I still remember a lot of what I learned at Northwestern. I've been a storyteller my whole life. I've told stories in short story form, novels, teleplays, screenplays, even a few in games these days, comic books, what have you. But I started telling stories when I was a kid in the federal housing projects of Boye, New Jersey. I continued to do it in high school, writing for comic book fanzines and things like that. But it was at Northwestern that I took the first steps. It was a Northwestern professor who first sent out one of my stories to a professional magazine and got me my first rejection strip, which gave me the courage to send out my own stories, which I wrote for classes at Northwestern, for journalism classes, and for short story, creative writing classes. The professors and the teachers I had at Northwestern, at Medill, Ben Baldwin, Dean Jacoby, Bergen Evans, of course, whose course in Introduction to Literature had a profound effect on me, even though I was only one of hundreds in Tech Auditorium, and I doubt Professor Evans would have recognized me if we'd bumped into him on the quad. But I remember those days quite vividly, and the things that happened off campus too. My time at Northwestern was during a time of great change, what is now known as the turbulent 60s, and indeed they were, but I learned from that turbulence too. And there was nothing better to be during that time than a journalist, a witness to all of the events that were going on in Chicago, on campus, in the nation as a whole. And now we're in another time of changes, another time of turbulence, different, but in some ways similar to what we went there. And I think the education that Northwestern provides its young people, undergraduate and graduate alike, is even more necessary now than it was back in my day, because the future of the world, the country, the planet is at stake in some of these issues that we're facing now. We need storytellers, we need journalists, we need truth tellers, We need the people who will go out and find the facts. And Northwestern, with its values for inquiry, for truth, being unafraid of controversy, these are things that will see us all in good stead. And I'm glad that, I'm very proud, I'm very pleased that Northwestern regards me as someone who has lived those values throughout his life, even as a professional science fiction and fantasy writer, and has embodied them sufficiently to be honored here today. So thank you once again. Thank you to the administrators and the teachers and the students of Northwestern. And thank you to all those who went before me and who helped teach me in my day, who are gone now, but not forgotten by any means.